I'm Betsy Green, Executive Director of the Georgia Youth Science and Technology Centers. I am so happy to introduce you to our organization and the wonderful work we do. For 31 years, GYSTC has been the leading nonprofit advocate in Georgia for excellence in science, technology, engineering, and math education at the elementary level. We advocate for our hardworking Georgia teachers with ongoing professional development training so they can maintain the highest skill levels to prepare our children for success. We advocate continuously for quality science education for Georgia children and their families with year-round activities for kindergarten through 8th grade students. Our reach is statewide with special focus on those children and communities who are underserved and need us most. We are enthusiastic and we are creative. GYSTC programs are available so entire communities can come together around science-based exploration, education, and fun. Today, I'd like to share one such program we are most proud of, Georgia Discover Camp. As you will see, it's a learning camp with a science twist. Any Georgia student can participate and every Georgia student will enjoy what we have in store. Please take a look.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Larson, and I'm the Director of Strategic Initiatives for the Georgia Youth Science and Technology Center. Welcome to Day 4 of camp. We are so excited that you've had the opportunity to participate with us this week. We're here at Providence Canyon, one of the wonderful wonders of the state of Georgia. We hope one day that you'll be able to visit here if you haven't. So today we're doing a wrap-up of lessons. Today for kindergarten, we are going to talk about living and non-living things. That's one of the science standards for kindergarten. And while at Providence Canyon, while we were on the canyon floor, we were able to identify many living and non-living things. In your packet of camp materials, you should have the activity sheet to be able to go outside and identify living and non-living things in your yard. So you can either draw them or write them, or you can even take magazines and cut pictures out and paste them down on the living and non-living side. And also while at Providence Canyon, we looked at a first grade standard, which is parts of a plant, and we identified all the parts of plants while in the canyon floor, from the roots to the stems to flowers to berries. So you can also go outside and take a look and see if you can identify all the different parts of a plant. And then our next activity is the life cycle of butterflies. We hope that you can go through all the different life cycles of living things. And as a K2 student, we hope that you've had a great time this week and that you've learned a lot of new things. I hope that you have fun and continue to learn about science and STEM throughout your career. Good morning and welcome to Day 4 of Week 1 of the Discover Georgia STEM Camp hosted by GYSTC. We are so excited that you've been able to participate with us this week, and today we are going to take a look at Providence Canyon. The video for that's going to come kind of at the end, but we're going to reference the few still shots that you saw just a few minutes ago on the introduction video as we work through 3 different activities that pertain to K2 science standards. So we are going to do a kindergarten activity, a first grade activity, and a second grade activity so everyone can participate and have fun. The first thing that we're going to do is take a look at organisms versus non-living things. So on our short clip of Providence Canyon just a few minutes ago, you could see a dead tree, and then you could see some living things as we were looking at the panoramic view of the canyon. So I want you to think about things that were living and things that were non-living while we were looking at the canyon. And I want you to think about what it means to be an organism. What is an organism? What is a living thing? So organisms need to be able to grow. They need to be able to take in nutrients, and they need to be able to reproduce. Living organisms need sun, food, and water to be able to grow and to reproduce. So how is that different from a non-living thing? Well, guess what? Non-living things don't do any of those three things. They don't need water, they don't need to grow, they don't need to take up nutrients, or they don't need to reproduce. So today, in order for us to understand the difference in living organisms and non-living things, we're going to make a foldable. And you're going to have the opportunity to showcase your drawing, or if you have your parents' permission, you'll be able to use scissors and glue. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take a piece of paper that you have in your packet that you were asked to get with your supplies for this week, and we are going to fold it in half. And once we fold this in half, some of you may know all about paper folds. This is called the Hamburger Fold. All right, so we're going to have our paper, and we have folded it in half, hamburger style. So, of course, if you're thinking, well, what is the other one? The other one's a hot dog style, and you fold it long ways. So, just so you know. All right, so on our half of piece of paper, we are going to write living organisms and non-living things. So take your crayons or your markers or your pencils or whatever you have, and let's write living, and underneath living we're going to write organisms, and non-living things. Okay. So, this is what it looks like. So then we're going to open this up, and at the top, in the center, on the left-hand side, we're going to write living, and on the right, we are going to write non-living. So now we have a basic foldable. And we are going to identify some living and non-living things that you have found around your house, or that you can find around your house. So I want you to think about, if you like to draw, you can draw some living things. If you like to write, you can just write them out. If you have your parents' permission, and only with their permission, you can take magazines and you can cut pictures out of magazines of living and non-living things. So I have some living things here and some non-living things, okay? And I also have, just make sure, like I said, that you have your permission from your parents in order to cut magazines up and to use scissors, because sometimes that can cause some problems. So we want you to make sure that you have permission. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the pictures that I have previously cut out, and I want you to take a look at them. In this picture, we have several things that we can put on our paper, okay? So we have a calf, okay? The calf is a living thing. We have some daffodils. Daffodils are living things. And if you look around, you can see some hay and some top grass that's dead. Those are non-living things. But so what we're going to do with this picture is we are going to put it on our living side, because we want to showcase our pretty little calf and our daffodils. So actually, I'm going to use part of the picture that I cut off for the non-living side. So we're going to put this on here. And you know, we have only a half a piece of paper, so sometimes you just kind of have to make things work. That's what scientists do. They make things work. So we're going to make this work. So we have our calf and our daffodils, and I have glue and I have tape. And right now it's just easier to use tape. So I'm just going to tape my living things on this side. And I said I cut something off that we're going to use on the non-living side. And I cut off, there are fence posts. Fence posts are non-living. So we're going to paste or tape this down. Okay. And then I also cut out some pictures of, I cut out this picture, and it is of a couple of people in a boat. The boat is non-living. The people are living. So I thought, you know, this is kind of cool. So we can just put it in the center because there are living things and non-living things captured in the one picture. So we're just going to tape it down to the center. And then I also have, let's see, I also have a picture of a basset hound, a cute little puppy. And it's a really large picture. And, you know, it doesn't matter if you overlap your pictures and everything. Whatever works. Remember, this is your creation of living and non-living things. Okay? So, and then I have a kitchen. So, some cabinets in a kitchen. So, we're just going to cut out a couple of pots, and we will cut out the cabinets, and we will use those. And we're just going to cut these, and we are going to glue those down like so. But now remember, I said that you do not have to use magazines. You don't have to use already made pictures. You can use your words, you can write. So you could just write. Think about what's living in your house, okay? You may have brothers and sisters. They're living, so you could write their names down. You might have a pet, any kind of pet. You might have a pet turtle, who knows? You know, that pet turtle is living. But when you go outside, think about things that you see that are not living. You may have a pool. You may have a swing set. You might have a fence around your home. All of those things are non-living. Okay? So this is one example of living and non-living that we have. And then I had already made one as well. And on this one, I have lots of living things. I have a gecko, and I have some more cows. Y'all probably think, Miss Lynn really likes cows. Well, I do really like cows. We have lots of cows on our farm, so I like cows. And we also have some kale growing here. So these are our living things. And then non-living, we have a truck, a glass, a cattle trailer, some water, and we have shoes. So here's another example of living and non-living things. So what I want you to do is I want you to really think about things that you see within your house or things that you see outside in your yard or in your neighborhood that are living and non-living. And then I also want you to go back and think about camp already this week. What have we been able to see this week that you might be able to put on the living and the non-living side? So on Monday, we learned all about honeybees. And Tuesday was all about Rosie Revere, the engineer, and flying machines. And then yesterday, Dr. Tom talked to us all about force and motion. And with force and motion, he showed us a magnetic car and a flying rocket, and he did one other thing. I'll have to think about it. A catapult. He also did a catapult. See, sometimes my brain goes away, but then it comes back. So He showed us several different things yesterday. So think about all those things we've done this week already, and where do they fit on our living and non-living side? Okay? So, as we continue on, we are going to continue to learn new things, but we are going to also continue to go back and be refreshed on things that we already know and things that we've learned this week. So, while on our field trip, and see, I took a for real field trip to Providence Canyon. And while we were there, I was able to see lots of different plants. And plants are part of the first grade standard, parts of a plant. So that's what we're going to talk about next, are the parts of a plant. So I need to clean up my mess just a little bit, get some of my stuff out of the way, and bring in our next activity. And I'm trying not to get dirt all over our pretty white tablecloth, but I'm not being real successful here. So, before me now, I have a pepper plant, okay? This is a pepper plant, and we are going to look at the pepper plant and talk about all the parts of a plant. So the very first thing we're going to do is we are going to take it out of its nice container. And every time, I've taken it out a couple of times already, and every time I do, I'm like, please don't let me break it, because we really do want to plant this pepper plant and see if we can grow some Cajun bell, spicy bell peppers. That's the brand. All right, so if we look at our plant, I'm going to turn it sideways right here. And if you look at our plant, you can see all of these little white, fibrous looking stuff. It almost looks like string. But you know what? These are the roots. This is the root system of the pepper plant. Okay, so what do you think roots do? What do you think the purpose of the root of a plant is? Actually, the roots have several purposes. They anchor the plant into the soil. The other thing you need to realize is all plants don't grow in soil. Some plants grow in water. If plants grow in water, it's called hydroponics or aquaponics, okay? Aquaponics has, also usually has fish underneath to eat the debris and to help with filtration and all that. But hydroponics, they grow in water, okay? This one is growing in soil, which is the conventional way, and the way that I know the most about, actually. I know a little bit about soil and why things grow in soil, but this pepper plant has a great root system. If we were to break it apart, and I can do that a little bit and then really make a mess on our table, but if I break it apart, you can see that the majority of the plant roots have come to the outside and are weaving a web for stability in this small cup. Now, when we plant it in the soil outside in our garden or in a container for a container garden, the roots are going to spread out more. There is a tap root in here that I didn't dig out because we really don't want to harm the plant, okay? But the root system provides the anchoring system of the plant, and the roots allow for nutrients and water to be absorbed and taken into the next part of the plant that we're going to talk about. Okay? And the next part that we're going to talk about is the part that gives the plant the most stability. And that is the stem. Okay? The stem provides stability. This is not a very straight plant, but it is okay. I like for my plants to be nice and straight in the garden, then everything looks like it's all in a nice straight row. But this one's kind of crooked, but it's okay. It's still very healthy, and our stem is still the transportation system for the nutrients and for the water, okay? So the stem provides stability, and then it allows for nutrients and water to go throughout the plant. And if you notice, the next part of the plant that we need to know are the leaves, okay? The leaves grow off of the stems, and the leaves are the site of photosynthesis. The leaves it's probably the most important part of the plant because they contain the chlorophyll that allows photosynthesis to take place, okay? It converts its food here. All right. And then another part that we want to look at is the fruit. And as you can tell, my spicy bell pepper has a teeny tiny pepper on here already. So if we were to take this piece of fruit or vegetable and cut it open, on the inside we would see seeds. And those seeds are what allows for the plants to reproduce, another plant to grow. And I'm gonna try to get some out. I've been strewing seed everywhere. You can see I have 3 little seeds here, but just imagine one of those seeds have grown this pretty pepper plant, okay? So, another part of the plant that we have, and there is one on here, right here, is a flower, okay? The flower is the most beautiful and colorful part of the plant. For pepper plants, the flowers are usually white, okay? The flowers are the reproductive parts, and they make the seeds. They actually fertilize and cause the fruit to grow, and then the seeds are inside of the fruit. Now, if you go outside in your flower garden and your mama has, or whomever you live with has daisies growing, the seeds are going to be inside of that actual flower. On this one, we're going to have a piece of fruit to appear, okay? All right, so today for our activity, I just wanted to go over the parts of the plant. So now for our activity, I want you to draw a plant and label its parts. And remember, for first grade, you only need to know plants, which anchor the plant, the roots anchor the plant to the soil, the stem, which provides the stability and allows the nutrients to go and water to travel up. We have the leaves, which is where photosynthesis takes place, and then we have flowers and we have fruit. So this is just a very basic drawing, and I always tell my students when I'm working with them, no matter what age they are, Miss Lynn is a scientist. She is not an artist, so please do not make fun of my drawings, okay? Yours will be much better than mine, I am sure. Okay? So, I want you to draw this for us, and then I want you to take some pictures of it. But in addition to that, later on, you can go back and watch these videos from camp this week, and you can go back in and then build a plant out of stuff that you find in your yard, or if you have pipe cleaners at your house, or any kind of craft materials. I want you to try to build a plant. And as you can tell, I have built my pepper plant. I have the root system, I have the stems, I have leaves, I have the pepper itself, and I have fruit. Okay? So, I want you to try to do this at home at some point and share those with us on our website, okay? Or on Facebook. So, those are the basic parts of a plant that you need to know for first grade. And so I told you I had the opportunity to go to Providence Canyon on my field trip, and we were able to identify parts of the plant, but then we were also able to see all types of living things. And some of those living things that we were able to see were butterflies. So another activity that we are going to do today is the life cycle of a butterfly. So I got to move my plant back out of the way. and move my seed. Our studio will be growing pepper plants before long because seeds are everywhere. All right, and then I'm going to get out my materials for our next activity. Okay? We are going to look at the life cycle of a butterfly. Okay, so the very first thing I want you to do is to take a piece of paper and fold it into fourths. So we're going to fold it in half. And then we're going to fold it in half again. So we have 4 boxes, okay? And on our 4 boxes, we are going to write some terminology. So starting at the top left-hand corner, we are going to write eggs. Eggs are the first stage of the life cycle of a butterfly. Eggs are tiny, tiny little dots, like smaller even than the tip of my pen. Like they are the size of the tip or the top of a straight pen. They are tiny, tiny, okay? Eggs usually hatch in 3 to 5 days. So just remember, 3 to 5 days, okay? Now, in the next spot, we are going to write larva, okay? This is our larva. Some of you may know larva as caterpillars, okay? So, the larva of the butterfly is a caterpillar. Some are pretty, some are not so pretty. Some are bright colored, some have lots and lots of hair, some will sting you, some are very smooth. All the caterpillars that are hatched depends on what type of butterfly we're going to have in the end, okay? So, caterpillars are hatched from their eggs with, caterpillars are hatched in 3 to 5 days. So they're an egg for 3 to 5 days, and then we hatch into a caterpillar. Then the caterpillar stage is 11 to 18 days. Now remember, I said that an egg is like teeny tiny, the tip, smaller than the tip of my pen. So think about when they hatch. What are they going to look like when they hatch on that leaf? They are teeny tiny. You can barely see them. But guess what? When they hatch, they start eating. And they eat, and they eat, and they eat. And they grow, and they grow, and they grow. So they start off teeny tiny, and they can be quite large before they get to the 3rd stage. Now, the 3rd stage is going to be the chrysalis. Now, we're going to write chrysalis in this square, all right? Because we are building a cycle, okay? And our cycle goes like this. If we did this, it would be out of order. So our cycle, just remember, circular. So it's a cycle, all right. So our chrysalis, the chrysalis is the transition stage. This is where the caterpillar or the larva spins a cocoon, and it's just this fine, spinny web, and they hang from a branch of a tree or a leaf or a plant, okay? So we have the chrysalis. The chrysalis lasts for 8 to 14 days. And after 8 to 14 days, we have our last stage, which is our beautiful butterfly. Okay? So now is what I would like for you to do, is I would like for you to just think about butterflies in general. Okay? There are over 17,000 species of butterflies in the world. 17,000 in the world. 750 in the United States. 160 in Georgia. And then anywhere in the state of Georgia, you can see about 30 different species. So if you have some pretty bright blooming flowers in your yard, you may see a variety of butterflies. You can attract many, many different butterflies in your own yard, okay? So now is what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to take your drawing or your paper, and I would like you to draw the individual parts, okay? So we have a leaf, so we have little bitty eggs. Remember, eggs are teeny tiny, microscopic almost. I can share some experience with looking for eggs before in fields and stuff for my husband who farms. Eggs are hard to see when you're out scouting for them and looking for them. You just kind of get used to what do they really, really look like on different types of crops. So they're teeny tiny though, so you really have to start to look for them, all right? So, and then they're going to hatch. And they're going to hatch on our leaf. And you can see I have some teeny tiny caterpillars right here. And remember, I said they're going to eat and eat and eat and get bigger and bigger and bigger, okay? And then it is time for them to continue metamorphosis, and they are going to form their chrysalis. They are going to go into their stage where they hang upside down or they hang from the branch and they fully mature. And then we have our branch with our butterflies, okay? So this is our life cycle of a butterfly. But an even better way or more exciting way is for you to create your life cycle of a butterfly using different types of pasta or different types of things that you have in your home. So we can take 2 white paper plates like so, and I always try to smooth them out the best that I can. And you just kind of have to run your fingers around them because you want them to kind of be flat. And I have 2 here, and I'm going to leave them together for now. And then I'm going to take them and I'm going to fold them into fourths. So I'm going to fold it in half. And then we'll fold it in half again. Okay, styrofoam plates will work, but if you use markers on styrofoam plates, it will smudge. So that's why I like to use paper. Okay, then I'm going to separate them, and I'm going to take my scissors, and I am going to cut out one of these triangles. Not all the way to the bottom, because we want to attach these 2 plates together. Okay? So I'm not going to attach them yet because we want to decorate them before we attach them. I'm going to talk to you about some different ways to attach them. So on the outside of this, you can write life cycle of a butterfly. And I've cheated and I've gotten a little ahead of you. So here's our paper, life cycle of a butterfly, our outside plate. So we may not have time to do all this today. That's why I've made some already, because I want you to make sure that you have these activities and that you can do them later, okay? And then on your other plate, I want you to start off drawing branches, eggs, larva, chrysalis, butterfly. And then you're going to see I have pasta here. So we are going to put our pasta on our plate. The first type of pasta I have is quinoa. It's teeny tiny. Remember, I said the eggs are teeny tiny. This is teeny tiny, okay? So not only will they have pepper seeds on the carpet, they will also have quinoa, okay? Remember, I also said that eggs appear on the bottom of leaves usually because they want to hide. They don't want predators to see them. And things will eat the eggs. Okay, and I just put a bunch of eggs on here, but guess what? A butterfly lays a bunch of eggs. I mean a lot of eggs at one time. Okay, so I have my eggs. And I'm using purple glue so you'll be able to see exactly where I have glued these down. And then the next type of pasta I have is spiral or rotini, and we are going to take it, and I'm just going to glue a piece on here. Whoops, and I also broke it, so, you know, we'll have us a small butterfly. I mean a small caterpillar, but remember I said caterpillars grow and grow and grow, okay? All right, and then the next one is going to be our chrysalis, and for our chrysalis we're going to have a shell. And I have just figured out, well, I hadn't just figured out, but I didn't bring Elmer's glue or white school glue, which would probably work better. So I'm just going to tape these down so they will stay, so we can at least see them when I hold it up. I don't want it to fall all over the place. And then, so we have quinoa, we have our spiral, which is our larva. We have our chrysalis, which is shell. And then we are going to use bow tie pasta for our butterflies. And you can color these. You can color them with food coloring, but you can also color them with markers. So if you want real pretty butterflies, you can color these. If you want to color your chrysalis, you can color your chrysalis. But I'm just going to put our butterflies out and about on our paper here. Monarch butterflies are the ones that we hear the most about, because we're trying to make sure we save them, because they take a flight pattern across the U.S. and come through the state of Georgia, actually down to Cape San Blas in Florida, and then they fly on to Mexico. So every year. So we are, that's one of the ones you hear a lot about, and you can do a lot of research on the monarch butterfly if you're really interested in them. They are absolutely beautiful. So you may want to look those up if you don't know. So here is our life cycle of a butterfly. And then, with an adult's help, you take your plates and you punch a hole. I'm going to use a pen instead of the scissors. I don't want to cut our backdrop tablecloth. Okay. The best thing to put in here are paper brads, the little brass things, but I could not find any of those. They are hard to find. So we're going to just use a pipe cleaner, and we're going to push it through, and let's see, push it through like so. And then I will twist the top so it does not come off, and twist the bottom. So now I have my life cycle of a butterfly. So when you're needing to study for the life cycle of a butterfly test, if you have a test over it, or if you need to know something about them, you start off with your eggs, and you turn and you have your larva, and you turn and you have your chrysalis, and you turn and you have your butterfly. So you have a diagram and a model of the life cycle of a butterfly. Okay. All right, so I have some, I'm going to leave those there for now. So right now we are going to go to Providence Canyon, and I want you to take a look at what we've been able to see at Providence Canyon. Providence in Richland and Lumpkin, Georgia, due to poor farming practices many years ago. If you've ever been there, you'll be able to see a variety of colors. The colors of the soil depends on how much iron oxide is related or is found in that actual layer. When you look, you can see how it depletes, and you can see how the colors change. The canyon it's a quarter of a mile down to hike into it, and it's a quarter of a mile down, but it's only about 150 feet. So it is a winding trail, and as you can see, there's a stream on the bottom, and on that at the bottom of that stream, it moves sand particles, and that sand is just moved into a lower part of the canyon. Each time it rains, the stream gets larger, and then over a period of time, it dries up. It never fully dries up, but it gets smaller and smaller. The canyon is open for hiking and for picnicking. It is a wonderful place to visit, and you just get to see a part of history here, and you get to see a formation that could have been prevented probably if farming practices had been better and different at that time. The canyon is, like I said, open every day, and it offers a wide variety of things to do. I do hope that you'll be able to go there and see the plants that are living there, and to see the formation of the canyon. So, today has been all about living and non-living things for kindergarten through second grade. I do hope that you have enjoyed your week 1 of GYSTC's Discover Georgia STEM Camp. We appreciate you participating with us, and we hope that you continue on your journey as you continue to learn new things about science, and that you are empowered to work in the STEM field. Go out, be you. Buzz all around, fly high. The sky is the limit, and I hope that you will always reach for the stars. We're going to show you some pictures from this week that you have submitted to us. We appreciate you submitting all of that work. We hope that you will continue to submit pictures to our Facebook account and to gystc.org. When we're finished in a few minutes, you're going to have the opportunity to go online to gystc.org and fill out a short survey, and once you complete that survey, you will be able to print a certificate for participating with us this week. And please know that prior sessions are going to be uploaded on Monday at gystc.org. So if you've missed a day, or if you want to go back and watch again and do the activities again, which is what I encourage you to go out and continue to rebuild and redo and modify, because that's what science is all about. But go to gystc.org and participate in our survey and print your certificate. We are so fortunate at GYSTC to have a board of directors that support us in everything that we do. At this time, I would like you to listen to a message from our State Board Chair, Mr. Don Barber.
Hello, Georgia. I am Don Barber, Chairman of the Board of Georgia Youth Science and Technology Centers, Incorporated. I hope you enjoyed that short glimpse into the exciting world of GYSTC and the wonderful work we do. I would like to take a moment to say a few more words about exactly who we are and why our mission is so unique and so important. First, GYSTC is science-based and Georgia-focused. GYSTC is the only Georgia nonprofit advocating for excellence in science education for elementary school children and their teachers. Second, because Georgia is where we live, learn, and work, GYSTC is wholly invested in the growth and success of Georgia industry and its future workforce. The science education our children receive today will prepare them to meet the workforce needs of tomorrow in agriculture, manufacturing, forestry, cybersecurity, and so much more. GYSTC needs your help to ensure that we can continue the important work of preparing our youth for the science-based employment needs of tomorrow. Your monetary or in-kind contributions will enable us to offer Georgia kids more and better education. It will help us continue to offer our dedicated teachers more low-cost professional development training. At the corporate or individual level, every gift is important. Will you help us invest in Georgia's future? Please reach out to us. Every dollar invested is an investment in our children's future.